His machinations are interrupted as the son of his chauffeur, chauffeur, his machinations are interrupted as the son of his chauffeur. Damn it! What the fuck is wrong with me?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Blockbuster, where three dudes talk about movies that we like and sometimes don't like. My name's Ben. I'm a fucking host. I'm upset. Welcome and fuck you.
Hi, I'm Mitch. I am also the host and the host with the most this week.
And my name is Lucas, and I am a host who is not upset, but sympathizes with your loss, Ben.
Yeah. We've come here today to eulogize my notes. I wrote a bunch of notes for this episode. I was really fucking excited about, and they didn't save. And I work in IT, so I should be able to recover them. But Notepad doesn't autosave anything. You get to eat shit.
No.
Stupid fucking Notepad.
Doesn't Notepad autosave?
Oh, I don't use Notepad++. What do I fucking look like? I'm made of money.
What do you look?
It's free.
What do I
It's
look like?
free.
Some guy who lives on top of a hill to you or something, just like looking down at the surfs below.
Someone wants to get into it.
I'm not looking for solutions. I'm looking for sympathy.
My bad. You're right. My apologies.
Anyway, today we're talking about a fucking masterpiece of a movie called High and Low by Akira Kurosawa, suggested by our lovely host of the most this week. You already know his name.
It's Mitch. All right. Well, I'll start us off with a brief introduction to the film. High and Low, released in 1963, is a certified classic of Japanese cinema. It was directed by Akira Kurosawa and is based on a novel, King's Ransom, by Evan Hunter. High and Low follows the story of a wealthy shoe company executive, Kingo Gondo, played by Toshiro Mifune, who is about to bet everything on a hostile takeover of his company. His machinations are interrupted as the son of his chauffeur, his machinations are interrupted as the son of his chauffeur. Damn it! What the fuck is wrong with me?
Chauffeur.
His chauffeur is kidnapped. Okay. His chauffeur is kidnapped and held for ransom. A crime thriller ensues as Gondo and the police must save the boy and find the kidnapper. Well, let's kick it off with some subtitles, boys.
High and Low. What would you pay for someone else's child?
What would you do for someone else's child?
And for those of you who think I'm creepy, please watch the movie.
Yeah, there's no kids in this movie. What are you talking about? Mine is High and Low. I'm not shaking. You're shaking.
Mine is High and Low. Men wiping sweat off the nape of their necks.
And with style. I wish I could
there was a lot of
wipe away
damp
sweat and look that good.
handkerchiefs for sure.
So fucking cool.
I do have to say, just at the start of this movie, where does Kurosawa get the gall to have so many hot people in one movie?
Yeah, well.
Anyway.
Kurosawa knows what looks good. Let's be real.
Also, Mifune is like kind of his muse. Like he's in every single Kurosawa film, pretty much.
Oh, I didn't know that. This is my first Kurosawa film.
Same.
It's also mine, yeah. But I've seen it before. Yeah, so we get into our thoughts.
Yeah.
I did not bury the lead on this at all. It's a fucking masterpiece. This movie's amazing. That you could teach a fucking class, a filmmaking class, just using this movie alone. It's brilliant.
Is it a triumph, Ben?
Yeah, it's a triumph. As Mitch would say, it's a triumph. It's a triumph of pure skill. And it's so fucking cool.
I would say I like this movie a lot. I think sometimes when it comes to like older movies, that maybe it's like my TikTok addicted brain, where I like get bored and I'm like, I know the next plot point you're gonna hit. I know it. Just go faster, faster. This one didn't have that problem for me. It kept me like captivated. I was like locked in on the edge of my seat, edging. And there were like still some moments where I think they're trying to convey emotion and they hung on that scene for a little while. And you know, it's a 2.5 hour movie, so there were some points where I was like, whew, it's long. But I was on the edge of my seat and I really enjoyed this movie a lot.
Yeah, I think similarly to Lucas, I really liked it. I was really drawn in. I mean, it's so meticulously made. It's really hard to what little criticism of this film I've seen is saying it's boring. I don't get any of that. I mean, I know older films can be challenging in that way at times because they're not flashy, but there's so much style. It's so slick in everything, in every frame. And it's hard. The story is very straightforward. And that was kind of nice. It was like, I don't know. Yeah, it was just a nice thriller. I bought the Blu-ray of it and I enjoyed that and whatnot. I look forward to keeping it in my collection for years to come and whisking it out on occasions where I have 2.5 hours.
Yeah, as we get into this movie, I'm mostly going to be focusing on the blocking, which if you hear anybody talk about high and low, you'll pretty much hear them first things first talk about the blocking, because the blocking in this movie is unfucking believably good. It's probably the best of any movie ever, arguably.
It feels like a stage performance in that way. Like every shot sort of feels like it's directed. Like you feel like, yeah, you're looking at this box and looking into a stage almost with how the shots are composed. It's really hard to explain on an audio platform like this, but
this is why we should add visuals to our YouTube videos.
Cough, cough. Anyways.
Oh yeah, we're on YouTube, by the
YouTube
way,
channel.
if you guys want to listen.
We've been on YouTube for
been
a while.
on YouTube.
And we haven't mentioned it.
But here we are, y'all. No, I agree. Like, every shot, like, you could find any, like, yell out a time signature, and at any time signature, there's going to be, like, 13 people in a shot, and each of them are going to be, like, perfectly composed to depict what's going on in the story. And, like, it's like, yeah, it's like a painting. Every shot is a photograph.
All right, should we cut into this long ass film?
Yeah, let's get high and low.
And low. We open on Mr. Gondo's home, where he is meeting with other executives of his company, National Shoes. They aren't happy with the direction the company has been going. They want Gondo to help them with a hostile takeover to push out the old president by making cheaper and worse products.
Classic.
Fucking over the consumer.
We're gonna make shoes, but bad.
Gondo doesn't want any part of it. He threatens to kick them out of the company instead. He also, just disgusted, rips apart their shitty shoe sample and is like, "Look at this garbage. I don't want my name on this shit." And he ushers them out of his house.
Proponents of like trickle down economics, they think that every capitalist is Gondo. They're like, no, the market will correct itself. There's going to be some really rich guy that cares about your plight. And I'm like, Gondo is a snowflake. He is like a unique, rare individual. Okay.
He's also not real.
Yeah.
Don't
the
say
only
that.
the only good
He's real in my
capitalist,
heart.
The only good capitalist is the guy who owns Costco and refuses to reduce the price of their hot dog. There is an important detail here where, for the first time, Gondo opens his... Mr. Gondo, I love that name. He opens his door to the outside world, and he's got this beautiful view of the city below him, where he's perched up high, and he can see out over the sea of homes.
There's a few times in the film like that. Also, fun fact, it's a miniature set.
What?
Yeah, like
That's cool.
it's not like an actual, like the whole thing is a soundstage. The whole house is a soundstage, and through the windows is an elaborate miniature set with different like silk screens and stuff to like
It's like
emulate the fog or the smog
Like a
and shit.
Half-Life skybox? Source engine skybox?
Sure, whatever the fuck that means.
You don't know what that means?
No, nerd.
You're not a real gamer.
That's
You're
fine.
not real.
That's fine. On the way out, the executives tell Mr. Kawanashi, Godo's right-hand man, that if he betrays Gondo and helps them stop him, they will make him a director of National Shoes, which he does think about. He says, like, don't tempt me. Gondo and his chauffeur's son are playing sheriff and outlaw, chasing each other around, which is kind of interesting. Gondo's wife says that, oh, he's so much like you. You both love blood sport, like relating capitalism and running an empire to playing...
Genocide.
Well, his outlaws.
Cowboys, Indians.
He wasn't dressed as an Indian. He was an outlaw, like a
Oh,
ruffian or whatever.
My bad, y'all.
After a few mysterious phone calls, an ecstatic Gondo reveals to his wife and Kanawashi that he has been quietly acquiring more and more of the company over the last few years. And with this final deal, he will have a majority of the company. He did this by borrowing against everything he owns in a bid to take over the company and make shoes the way he wants to.
Brilliant. What a brilliant
Yeah.
idea. Also, we're introduced to a motif that'll run throughout the whole movie, a visual motif. While Mr. Gondo takes the call from Osaka, he's centered like directly in the middle of the frame. His wife is all the way on the left side of the frame, staring at his back, and his partner, Kawanishi, is on the right side of the frame facing him. His wife is going to represent, you're going to figure this out, his love for his family, and his partner represents the part of him that's like cold-hearted, business, calculating. You already kind of get a sense of it here. Oftentimes, when somebody's empathizing with a character in this movie, when they're telling them something about themselves that they're trying to bury deep so they don't have to listen to it, they'll speak to the character from behind them, looking at the back of their head. And if a character, is looking for sympathy, is looking to do the thing that they want to do and that they know might not be correct, they look to the person who they think they'll garner sympathy from. In this case, his partner, who's a wheelin' dealin' piece of shit, who Gondo is looking at via the composition. He's not directly looking at him, but it's implied and established here.
Yeah, in this scene, or like right before it, Kawanishi is like, oh, what do you got planned? What do you got planned? And he's like, hold on, let me get these phone calls first. And I was like, immediately like, you dirty little, you
Yeah.
horrible person. You're trying to
Yeah.
fuck over Mr. Gondo.
So
Don't
dirty.
touch Mr. Gondo. Also, in this scene, we're bound to experience this. This was made in 63 or released in 63.
Sexism?
Yeah, sexism. I was like, I don't know if I like Mr. Gondo. He's like, you are woman. Woman know good business. Women don't understand business. Men only do business. That bullshit. But he really has a good character arc.
That is a direct quote from the movie, by the way.
No, it's not.
I apologize to anyone who speaks Japanese. I'm doing my best out here. There's some longer names in here.
You couldn't even say the word chauffeur. How the fuck are you going to say Kawanishi properly?
We love you. I'm so sorry, but it's so true.
Kawanishi will fly to Osaka with a check for 50 million yen, which I don't know how much that is for that. Back then, it's got to be at least like $12, but 50 million yen sounds like a lot of money.
Go buy me
Aoki.
a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, you could definitely buy at least a pack of smokes with 50 million yen. I don't really know what that represents. Aoki, Gondo's driver, arrives with a shirt for his son. A call is interrupting their conversation, telling Gondo that this person who is calling has kidnapped his son, June, and he will let him go for 30 million yen. He says that he will have more details tomorrow and to not call the police.
The thrill of the scene is established, and then it falls onto this composition where Gondo's on the couch, Aoki's in the background listening in intently, and one like blocking motif in this movie, at least my interpretation of it, is people acting as specters or as spirits. You know, that comes up a lot later, but in this scene you get kind of a taste for it because Aoki is standing in the background, he's listening intently, and then Gondo's wife runs from where Aoki is and almost like falls onto his back and puts her ear right next to the phone and tries to listen to it. Meanwhile, his partner Kawanishi is in front of him and just leaning in and listening to the phone. Everybody's crowded around the earpiece. And as the kidnapper talks and tells him what's going on, he says that he requires the 30 million yen for the return of the kid alive. And when he says this, Gondo sort of sits up and looks directly into the eyes of his partner Kawanishi. It's like every force in the movie that's trying to get Gondo to act like a good person in this scene is desperately, literally clawing at his back, trying to fucking bring him to the light. And he's locked eyes with this bastard of a partner of his. Like, oh, this guy wants 30 million yen? What am I going to fucking do?
Gondo says he will get their son back no matter the cost. June enters the room and everyone is relieved, thinking the call was some kind of sick prank. They then realize that the driver's son, Shinichi, is missing. Gondo says to call the police since the kidnapper knows they have the wrong kid and will realize the driver has no money for the ransom.
I think it's really wonderfully set up, this whole like kidnapping the wrong kid thing, because like it's there, and like I don't know, when they said that they had kidnapped his son, I felt like something was off, but I didn't like fully recognize it. But like the setup is there. They're playing cowboys, and there's like a full-fledged cowboy outfit that June is wearing. And then the mom is like, June, like, share with Shinchi. It's like his turn to be the cowboy. It's his turn to be the good guy. And so like this all is set up in the background, and then you have this payoff of like, oh, he was wearing the June's outfit. That's why he got kidnapped.
The police arrive incognito as delivery drivers.
Also at this scene, my immediate first feeling was like, Kawanishi, you horrible, horrible human. You're doing this. You're trying to like you're trying to fuck over your boss to get in good with the other rich goons. Like, how dare you? I was so suspicious of Kawanishi this entire movie, and it was not warranted.
I mean, he's clearly like not a great dude, but yeah, he wasn't like the mastermind, you know. I think there is a bit of subtle diversion. Like I think at certain points in the film, you are supposed to think that the executives are behind this kidnapping. You know, maybe before this meeting, they said, well, if Gondo's not on our side, we're going to just like make sure he doesn't have money to deal with us or
and
whatever.
It really does feel like it's them, because so they're ransoming 30 million yen, and the cops say that like the most expensive extortion ransom kidnapping situation was like beneath this 30 million yen. Like, this is, you know, such a crazy amount that this person is most likely delusional or something. And I was like, that's interesting. That's very specific. Like, did somebody find out his plan, and like they're doing this solely to get him to not be able to do his little hostile takeover.
Most things weren't the case.
Yeah.
This is a movie you can approach on multiple sorts of levels. If you want to just be like a thrilling little romp, you could totally just engage with it on that.
That's kind of where I engaged with the film a lot. I mean, obviously enjoyed the artistry and the craft elements of it a lot, but I maybe didn't engage with some of the deeper themings of it, or they were a little opaque to me where I didn't access them.
I also enjoyed this for like what it was, the plot, the movie, the excellent composition. I'm not I'm not educated within film, but I like to think that like I can at least recognize something's hitting right, you know.
Well, that's what
I think
good filmmaking does. Like if a movie's well made and it isn't interesting to you, or it's boring, or it's still a bad movie. Good filmmaking makes you feel good. It makes you feel engaged. It awakens something in you and it compels you. You know, you don't have to be a film buff to enjoy complicated movies. There are movies that are, more challenging, but I don't think High and Low is a challenging movie at all. That's why earlier I mentioned you could teach a class on it, because it's so easy to see what they did right with this movie. It's right there. It's perfect.
When the cops get there, they close the blinds, thinking that it might be possible that the kidnapper can see into their house from his location. They also set up a recording device for when he next calls. The perp calls again, and everyone gathers to hear the playback of the conversation, because there's a couple of times in this movie where we get Gondo answer the phone, say like, "Hello, this is Gondo," and then it cuts.
With the angriest Moshis.
Yeah.
Moshi!
Yeah. He answers, and then it will kind of cut to the people gathering around listening to the recording, so everyone's can actually hear what was being said. The kidnapper has discovered his mistake, but still insists that Gondo pay the ransom, to which Gondo refuses. The perp taunts him, saying he doesn't have the guts to let the boy die. Gondo reiterates that he's not willing to pay the ransom.
That scene, again, fucking amazing blocking. The kidnapper realizes he has the wrong kid and calls him and explains the situation. Gondo, after the phone call, gets up and goes to the right side of the room. And he's on the far right of the frame. On the left side of the frame is the chauffeur who just found out that his kid's gone and kidnapped. And in the middle of the frame, smack dab in the middle, is Gondo's wife and child. And Gondo's looking at them, but by virtue of the composition, where the actors and the camera is placed, it looks like he's looking at the chauffeur through his wife and kids. And not only that, but because of the way the set's built, Gondo's sitting up on a step, so he's physically higher than the chauffeur. Which, is a really trivial way of indicating that he has power over this guy. But given the kind of power and how it relates to family, the fact that Gondo's family is right in the center of the frame and they're both fucking looking at them or looking at each other through them. Oh my god. Oh my god.
It is a great, it's great tension and just I don't know, very human. You get that. You're like, oh my god, my kid was kidnapped. Whatever money, we'll figure it out. We'll get them what they need. Oh, not my kid, not my problem. Totally.
I mean, if it was my kid, I'd be like, you can have him.
Oh my god.
And that's why Ben doesn't have kids, y'all.
Yeah, fuck kids. I hate kids.
All the men in the room have a discussion of the merits of paying versus not paying the kidnapper. The lead inspector says that they should take him at his word, that he will release the child if he is paid and kill him if not. Just as Gondo assures himself, telling Kawanashi to take the money to Osaka and thus doom the child, the phone rings again. The perp lets Gondo and Aoki talk to Shinji, confirming that he is alive. Aoki begs Gondo to pay, but Gondo still refuses. He does, however, postpone sending the money to Osaka until tomorrow.
I think this is the scene where the chauffeur is begging for Gondo to pay the ransom. This is another visual motif of the movie. He has to do so through a wall of people that Gondo has erected in front of himself. It's a similar tactic to what he did with his wife earlier. It's a cinematic tactic. He's not actually doing it. It's just whenever Gondo is shown on the screen being begged by someone to do something or pleaded with to act like a decent person, there's a wall of people between him and them in the frame.
Also, props to Aoki. Like, I was thinking, this is, some rich lady. She's going to be like, not my child, not my problem. But she, was advocating for that kid. And
Aoki is the driver, not his wife.
No, what?
fuck!
Wow.
Rico?
Yeah. Rieko, I think.
Rieko. My bad, Aoki.
Wow.
You are a chauffeur.
Wow.
I'm so sorry, everybody.
Remember Women's Name Challenge?
Okay.
The next day, Gondo comes downstairs to realize most of the cops have stayed the night. Gondo's wife arrives, begging him to pay the ransom. Gondo is dismissive, saying she doesn't know what poverty is like, that she ain't built for the streets. Gondo asks Kawanashi to take the check to Osaka, but it appears he has had a change of heart. He throws out a couple of reasons not to pay. Public backlash, his wife's money started his empire, so he should listen to her, and that it's the correct moral choice. Gondo calls bullshit, saying Gondo calls bullshit, saying that Kanawashi has ulterior motives. He then confesses that he crawled back to the other executives and has conspired against Gondo because Gondo appeared weak the night before, thus making Kawanashi's position precarious. Yeah, Snake for sure.
Yeah, Kawanashi's a little piece of shit.
Gondo kicks out Kawanashi. The phone rings. The perp tells them to stop acting sus by having the curtains drawn in broad daylight, revealing that he can see the house from wherever he's calling. Gondo opens the curtains up, and the cops hide from sight under the coffee table. Gondo tells the perp he will pay, but only if he can see the boy alive. The perp says he has to think about it and hangs up.
Yeah, really fun, I don't know, really fun scene where you're just you're being watched, but by who and where, it's just, there's nothing you can do, but you're under this person's thumb. It's really fun.
Being watched from that view that that was used. No. I guess it is lower than him. He's high and they're low. Oh, it's the movie. In the first scene of the movie, when he's ripping into those executives in their stupid fucking cheap shoe, he uses the opening of his balcony and the view out there to kind of establish his wisdom and his character. Yeah, his meaty hog that he earned by pulling up his bootstraps. And now here it is, the same view being used to exploit him. Stupid fucking piece of shit. If you're going to be rich, you should just live in a compound.
After the call with the perp, Gondo makes a call to the bank. He decides that he will pay the ransom.
All right, I'll save the fucking kid.
We cut to the cops listening to the recording of the next phone call. The perp has accepted the proposal and decides they will swap the money for the boy once Gondo sees the boy. The exchange...
Is This is after Gondo takes the most aggressive shower anyone has ever taken.
Yeah, I cut that out, but yeah.
Fucking scrubbing the fuck out of his head.
The exchange will happen once Gondo catches a specific train tomorrow. The perp asks for the money to be in two and 3/4 of an inch thin briefcases. The cops also have Gondo place some tablets in the case that may lead them closer to the perp. The key detail being that if the perp burns the cases, the tablets will emit a pink smoke.
Yeah, that's
And
a fun.
putrid smell.
If it gets wet, yeah. It's a fun scene too because it's like he's not like the other girls. He's not like the other Richies. Like he used to be an apprentice and then he got to this position from that. And so he is like, let me show you where to hide these substances that will, do something once tampered with. And he asks his wife to get his toolkit, and he gets on the floor and he goes back to his old days where he's taking apart this bag and then he's gonna insert these things, and everyone kind of like gets up from where they're sitting and where they are, and they all start to crowd around him to kind of like watch, essentially like a master do their craft, and it's a very cool scene.
It's cool. It's also cool because he sits on the ground cross-legged. It's sort of a shorthand indication that he is a working man.
Like down to his roots in the ground. Humble.
He really did pull himself up by his bootstraps. Almost literally.
By his lady shoe straps.
God, he loves ladies' shoes so much. Don't read into that.
The cops also write down the serial numbers of all the money in case any of it gets spent afterwards.
It must have taken fucking forever.
He says it takes him like 10 hours or something. It sounded, what a miserable, you sign up to catch bank robbers and there you are writing down banknote serial numbers.
Yeah, while fucking Keanu Reeves gets to go out and surf.
Yeah. Nowadays they have like a little counter that will just record all the serial numbers and put it on a spreadsheet for you. Damn.
We cut to the train. Gondo and the cops in disguise ride along. One cop passes a note to the lead inspector that says the boy isn't on the train. An announcement says that there's a call for Gondo waiting in the buffet car. Gondo walks up to go take his call.
And he picks up the phone and they're like, we're trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
This scene is very like, I don't know, I get it. They're hamming it up, but like if one of the kidnappers was on that train, they would have known that like Gondo has talked to the cops because they're all kind of like looking at each other, being all shifty, and they're like, oh, go over here and be all sly about it. And they're like, okay, I'm going to go get a coffee. And then one of them comes over to get a coffee too, and they look at each other and they're like, yeah, let's go, let's follow him. And like, they're being so fucking obvious.
It's so conspicuous.
But this is a movie. This is a movie. We're all here to
It
have
is
fun.
a movie. You're correct. It is a movie.
Fun fact about the train. This was all shot one day. And there's a oneer that's like cut between different cameras, basically. So like the actors had to move through the train and there were different cameras positioned throughout. So it doesn't like really look like a oneer, but it was basically like one take. Ostensibly, they had one shot to get it right. The bridge sequence, which we'll talk about shortly. And it was pretty much, they nailed it, except for one actor flubbed his lines. So they had to rehire the train just for a little bit to do just his lines.
Fucking idiot.
How smart though, like put the actors in the same mindset as their characters, that they only have one shot to get this. Like they have to set up the cameras to record these kidnappers. Same sort of vibe, but you have the same sort of like sweat and tension and excitement and like
Yeah, that's one philosophy. That's the Werner Herzog philosophy.
let's go Werner Herzog.
There's other directors that would be like, fuck that.
Kurosawa really liked long takes. Like even if they were edited, like between back and forth, he would shoot it in one take, so that they basically the scene would start to feel more lived in, was sort of his idea about it. The actors were becoming more natural, I guess, as the take gets longer. That's like was his philosophy.
So that makes a lot of sense to me. In like, I did high school theater. I do not do theater anymore, although I should. And like, you know, the longer you're in a scene, the more you are entrenched in those characters and their feelings, and you're starting to feel their feelings, and like, how dare this character do this to you or whatever. And just like props to other actors out there in the world where they have to like come in on a Tuesday morning. It's like, all right, your mom died, go. And then the next scene, it's like, all right, this is the happiest you've ever been, go. Like that's a fucking talent, or that's a skill.
Gondo takes his call. The perp tells him that the boy will be at the next bridge 2 minutes away from now, and he's to drop the briefcases out the restroom window. Yeah, so basically the Gondo and the cops are like sweating bricks because they're like, oh shit, we don't have a plan. This guy's really smart because we're not going to be able to go get the boy. Like he's going to have the money, and we're going to be waylaid until the next stop.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, this guy's really smart.
And they have to like figure out, okay, you know, we're gonna send two people each to the opposite ends of the train, and you know, get your. He's also directing. He's like, get your 8mm on that side and get your whatever on that side, and he's like, you know, get the shots, but also don't be shown because again, this entire time, the kidnappers think that Gondo hasn't talked to the cops, and if he did, it could mean death for this kid.
As the train approaches the bridge, we see the boy and a mysterious person with a large hat covering their face. Then, as they cross the bridge, there's another mysterious person with a hat covering their face there to collect the money. Gondo yeets the cases out the window, and we see mysterious person number 2 scurrying to collect the money. Any tension that maybe the oh god, are they going to get the boy and the money is dissipated immediately after, though, because then we get a car pulling up and Gondo like runs to collect Sinchi like it's his own son. He runs after him and like picks him up, just like clearly relieved by what's going on.
It's a very cute scene, but also, like, what I don't get is why didn't that kidnapper kill that kid? Like, he would have gotten away if he killed that kid. I'm so sorry. But that kid had so much information. That kid had so much information. Are you kidding?
But this is why you would get caught if you ever tried to commit a fucking crime, Lucas.
No, I never would commit a crime.
Your logic goes, kid gives information, and ipso facto, killing kid would let me get away.
Yeah.
You've just committed another. Think of all the evidence you're going to leave behind murdering a fucking child.
Think about all the evidence you're going to leave behind, letting that child talk about who he stayed with, where he stayed. You have the money. You have the money. You have the money. The cops are on a train. Kill the kid, dump him, run away. Run away. Get out of the country.
Don't kill the kid. Because if you kill the kid, you're going to make them chase you more than if you didn't kill the kid. You know?
I don't know. They were acting like the kid was dead. They're like, they fucked over Mr. Gondo. Are you kidding me? We got to get this guy. Sorry.
Let's get these guys.
That is what they say at the end of the scene. They say, for Gondo's sake, be bloodhounds. Which is so fucking badass.
Because if it's not clear to the viewers, Gondo paid this money that he doesn't have, so he's not going to be able to take over the company. Not only that, though, he put everything he owns against this loan. So if he can't pay back the loan, he's going to lose his house, everything. This isn't just like, oh, he's out of this money, he can't do this like hostile takeover deal. Like he is now broke.
He's cooked. He chose the boy, and he's cooked.
He's a good man. We love Mr. Gondo.
We then get a couple of very sweaty beat cops scouting out various payphone locations with views of Gondo's house. They pass a man on the other side of a river who turns out to be the kidnapper.
Oh, fuck!
He heads to his little hovel and begins reading the newspaper and listening to the radio to catch up on all his great exploits as some sort of gratification for his crime, when he feels he's gotten away with it. Yeah. The radio says the whole nation is gripped with the story and has shown a great outpouring of sympathy for Gondo. The perp's expression sours a little bit, as if he doesn't really like that news. That's not what he wanted. He wants all the glory.
Yeah, you fucked up. You made Gondo a hero. My boy Gondo.
Yeah, it's like United States foreign policy.
For sure.
The perp opens his curtains to reveal that he can see Gondo's home from his apartment.
I could see Russia from my house.
All right, Miss Palin.
We get a debrief by the inspector with Gondo and his family, plus their staff. The key information is that through some investigation, they figured out the make and color of the car that the kidnappers used, and that one of the people at the bridge was a man and the other was a woman. The kind of the little bits of information that the inspector has gotten so far. Also in this scene, Aoki is a dick to his kid for not remembering more about his kidnapping.
Which, I kind of also get that. The stress of, I basically said that I would lend the 30 million yen to get you back from a rich guy. Who knows what this rich guy's going to do? Now, Gondo, he's an upstanding man. But any other Richie would be like, hey, poor person, where's my 30 million?
I mean, also, I think Shinji also... I think they say at some point he was drugged at a certain point, not the whole time, but when they initially kidnapped him. So forgive the kid a little bit for,
Yeah.
He's probably never done drugs before. He seems a little young to have done much.
Tripping balls
also,
on the
yeah,
floor for him.
Jun and Shinji are 8-year-old boys, probably. Just I don't think we talked about the kids. I mean, they were playing cops and robbers, so it's not really we're assuming they're not older or anything, but still.
Yeah, the little pipsqueaks.
Yeah. The only thing that Shinji really gave them so far is that the house that he was kept at had a view of Mount Fuji and the sea. And he drew a cute little drawing for the cops. A little crayon drawing. Also part of the scene, Gondo's creditors are circling, seeing that he no longer has the money or the shares in his company. They're ready to fuck his ass up if he doesn't pay out.
But they're like, oh, because of public opinion, we'll give you back your most recent payment on the loan. But then after this, you're fucked. And it's that's not a gift. That's just you cowering to public opinion.
I don't think that's what they were doing. The way I understood it was they gave him back his payment on the interest and said, you have to give us the principal, saying I don't want this little bit of it. I want the whole shebang.
Oh, I thought they were saying because of public opinion, we'll be nice. You don't have to pay the interest this month, but we expect the full shebang by this time. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know how money works. I don't invest, y'all, because capitalism sucks.
We then get a massive police meeting where they all take turns exchanging all the intel they've gathered. Some smattering of relevant and less relevant stuff. Basically, they narrowed down the perp's profession to a few things based off the chloroform or whatever chemical they used to drug the kid. Ether, yeah. Whatever made up shit that is.
That's not made up, that's real.
It sounds like some high fantasy shit. I know that's aether, it's a different thing, but anyway. They've also narrowed down the area where the house was that Shinji was kept in. The meeting ends prematurely as the car the perp drove had been recovered. Although not much to gain from that at that point. It was kind of just really fucking dirty. That was kind of it. One cop identifies a trolley sound in one of the recordings and calls in an expert to identify it. He identifies it as Enoshima Rail, which narrows down the location which the house which Shinji was held in even more. The cops try to pick up Shinji for a ride to jog his memory, only to find that Aoki has left with him to do the same thing. And this is where the cops are outside and see Gondo out in his yard mowing his lawn in the blazing sun.
Such a mood.
In full business attire, sweating nuts. Dude is drenched in sweat.
Well, not full business attire, like coat off at least.
Yeah. He took off the sport jacket to mow the lawn.
And he rolled up his sleeves.
Yeah.
But he's fucking drenched.
And I think, like, before this scene, they even talk about how he was, like, you know, he's not going to the factory anymore, that he knows his fate, and he's kind of, like, coming to terms with it, and he, like, good for him. He's just facing reality and being like, that, you know, life is ups and downs. You just roll with the punches.
That's why lawns exist. It's so men can brood.
Same way snowy
women or
embankments
non-binaries.
exist so men can die.
Yeah, exactly.
We then get the cops and Aoki driving around, looking in similar places until they bump into one another up on this hill where Shinji finds the house he was held in.
This kid's going to get kidnapped again.
Yeah, he does this little
so-
disappearing act thing.
He runs away from the cops, and then when he finds the house, he's just, like, running up to the house, and he's like, aunt and uncle, like, Aoki, teach your kid, he's going to get snatched.
He's so kidnappable.
In the house, the cops find there are 2 dead people stinking up the place.
Which is revealed in an excellent way because one of the detectives goes up to the doorway, back against the wall, you know, ready to bust in hot, the way cops do with their guns. And he's got his gun drawn, but then when he gets there and he realizes what's happened and we don't, he puts the gun in his pocket and takes a handkerchief out and uses it to cover his mouth and nose, which is indicative of, you know, a putrid smell. And then your brain goes, oh, they're dead. Oh. And in case you didn't get it, the next detective walks up and says, hey, they're dead.
The kid, Shinji, but anyways, he's like, auntie and uncle are sleeping.
Forever.
And they smell bad. We cut to the lead inspector giving some reporters the lowdown. The couple that they found dead were heroin addicts who overdosed. But it seems that someone gave them an extra pure dose as a way to get rid of them.
The dude says that heroin addicts are good at knowing their doses. No, they're not. Heroin addicts overdose more than non-heroin addicts.
It is pretty hard to overdose when you're not a heroin addict. From
But I think he means,
understanding.
I think he means they know their, like, the regular product. They know how much they should take.
Yeah.
That, like, but you're right. People do. Never mind. Cut it. I don't even know what I'm saying.
I mean, this was before fentanyl, so you know.
Honestly, that's so
like-
trizzy.
Their heroin was probably a lot better in the 1960s. You know, as good as heroin can be.
They were saying it was like 30% at the end of, like, the dealer, like,
Yeah.
thing. That's crazy. That's why y'all don't do drugs. You don't.
Well, they
know
cut it
what
with
they
sugar,
are.
apparently. That's what he said. So, you know, at least it's not cut with
Legalize
other
all
worse drugs.
Sugar's even worse.
True. In addition to the bodies, they found the impressions of a note that says basically a note the druggies had written saying, "Get us more drugs or we'll spend the money."
So fucking straightforward.
Yeah. This was found in the house along with some of Mr. Gondo's money, indeed connecting these two to the kidnapping plot. The inspector asked the reporters not to report on the deaths, but instead print a lie that some of Gondo's money had been spent, thus drawing out the perp thinking that the two junkies had spent some of his money or some of their Mr. Gondo's money, thus increasing the heat on them.
And tricking him to think that like the overdose didn't happen.
We also learned that Gondo lost his job at the shoe company in this scene.
That's one thing that's absent from this half of the movie is Mr. Gondo.
It's true.
Most of this part of the movie is just the detective stuff.
Yeah, it's really, the movie is a tale of two halves. There's the rescue the kid, Mr. Gondo half, and then there's the we gotta get these guys part of the film with the detectives.
Yeah. It is like a true detective, like it's a cop movie, or like it's a crime detective. Yeah, it's a cop movie.
The perp is doing his routine of looking at the newspapers, checking in with his crime. He sees that the aforementioned article, that some of the money had been identified, and that the briefcases, which we didn't really talk about, but the briefcases that they used to put the money in were very particular and distinct, like specific looking. They kind of had this filigree pattern on them as to a generic black briefcase. So their plan to kind of make the perp get rid of the briefcases is starting to work. In fact, he actually just grabs them, dumps the money out, throws them in a box, and heads out, clearly on his way to dispose of them. We cut to Gondo and the cops having a chat when Kawanashi comes in to try and get Gondo to come back to the company, attempting to end the public backlash for his firing. Gondo basically tells him to eat shit, traitor, and Kawanashi leaves.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of my house.
Fuck you.
I've always wanted to have an adversarial relationship with someone so intense that they come groveling back to me as a last-ditch effort, and I get to tell them to get the fuck out of my house.
One day, Ben. One day.
One day.
Yeah, I feel like that's included in the package of traditional male fantasies alongside bleeding out on a snowy embankment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not communicating your emotions at all, but being totally understood.
Yeah. Angrily mowing your lawn to contemplate life. It's a starter pack, you know? Aoki enters with a drawing of the perp that Sinchi made. The kind of only notable thing... What?
He's like, my son drew you another photo of the perp, but it's just dick butt.
The kind of only notable thing about Shinchi's shitty drawing is that the perp has a handkerchief wrapped around his hand.
It's so shitty.
I'm like, poor kid, but he's not making it as an artist.
Yeah. He's trying to help, you know, he's just doing his best, but he's
doing
like
his best,
8,
yeah.
you know.
He's doing his best.
Shit, you need to fuck off.
This conversation is interrupted as the kids notice pink smoke billowing from a nearby chimney. The only bit of color in the film.
I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. I've never seen a black and white movie, or an almost entirely black and white movie, use a splash of color for an effect. This is the first time. I thought it was awesome.
Have you not seen Schindler's List?
Schindler's List?
No, I have seen Schindler's List. Is there color in that?
Yeah.
I don't remember the scene where there was color in that.
That's all right. I mean, this apparently was like took a lot of work to get this effect.
What's so fucking funny, Lucas?
Mitch with his backhanded. That's all right. Anyways, moving on. I love that.
That was genuine. There wasn't anything backhanded.
I think you don't realize it when you're being sassy, and I love it.
It turns out the pink smoke was billowing from a trash disposal place where a very greasy guy, not like he acts greasy, but he is covered in shit, dude.
He's the trash man.
I'm the trash man.
This is an art of classic filmmakers like Kurosawa and Billy Wilder. Their ability to characterize literally everyone in the movie. I mean, it happens here with the greasy trash man who's just casually throwing fucking trash into random piles that are like amalgamous. And then there's also the trolley man in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Remember
true.
that?
Yeah.
When he goes and he's like, hey, do you recognize this trolley on this tape? And this psyched up old trolley dude's like, fuck yeah, dude. I fucking know the sound of every fucking trolley. And he starts making the noises.
Yeah, there's our neurodivergent representation in this film.
I was thinking it. I wasn't going to say it. Trains, man.
Nah, he just seemed like a guy who was stoked on trains. But
I'd say a contemporary example of or I guess in this case, a pair of directors doing that really well is obviously the Coen brothers. They do a really good job of characterizing even minor characters. They're just really, really, really good at packaging detail into characters.
So the greasy trash guy, like, kind of half pays attention to the cop asking him questions. The important thing is that he did have a doctor type looking guy, maybe an intern, chuck a box in that morning. There is one bit of a plot hole here where the trash man asks, like, he doesn't give a fuck about what the cop is talking about. But then when he asks him, did he medical student or anything come? He's like, I don't know. How would I know that? But now that you say it, there was a young doctor looking guy and he left in the direction of internal medicine. Like this trash man knows what direction internal medicine is.
Yeah.
Like quite the inference from the greasy man.
Greasy man is big brained. Galaxy brained.
It's like the only logical inconsistency I was like a little about in this movie. Just it's super small and nitpicky, but it was the only one that stood out for me, so I thought I'd bring it up. The cops, they go to the hospital. They manage to identify the perp by a wound on his hand, the same hand as in Sinchi's drawing. At another police briefing, we learn our man is named Jinjiro. They put all the pieces together, linking him to the heroin junkies. They make a plan to get Jinjiro to the scene of the crime by giving him a fake note from the junkies asking for more drugs or they're going to give him up.
And the note literally says, buy us more dope. Buy us more dope, we're going to turn you in.
Yeah.
They know who they're channeling.
It shows you never trust the junkies you hired to kidnap a kid. They can't be trusted. Jinjiro falls for it, and the cops follow him around all goddamn day. This is actually one of my favorite sequences, is like when he goes to the late at night into this district. It's just like the vibe is immaculate during this part of the film.
Can you elaborate on that? What vibe are you talking about? The vibe I got was sort of Americana.
Yeah, there's a bit of that, but this is part of the film that I felt was like very noir, and I don't know. We finally get our antagonist like in his element, I guess, not just like sweaty in his room, looking at newspapers. Like he has this sort of suave, almost swagger to him as he moves through the world, like this sort of indifference to it that is really evocative, I guess. As well as the club he goes in, there's like expats there dancing. There's so much going on, and he's just a cool cat there for some dancing and a drink, but really he's there to buy drugs to kill people.
Yeah, it is elaborate, and it's also it's a vibe, but it's also still as meticulously made as the rest of the movie. There's one shot in particular I recall that I fucking love, where he's sitting up at the bar and he's looking at all the people dancing, and the shot has everyone in the club dancing, but he's at the bar in the top of the frame, and all the people in the crowd form kind of like a pyramid. They're like a triangle pointing to the main character. And it's incredible that there's so much detail packed in that shot. There's so many faces for your eye to latch onto. And yet, your eye lands right on the fucking antagonist immediately. It's just a fucking master at his craft, man.
For sure. Yeah, it's a cool sequence. The kind of meat and potatoes of it is that Jinjiro has this dancing drug deal with this lady where they're kind of like doing the twist or something, and he like hands her the money.
That's not the twist. Wait. What dance is that? It's not the twist.
The Carlton, whatever the fuck it is. It's
not
important.
Not the Carlton.
It's not important. It's not important.
No. It's not. It's this one.
Twist. That's twisting.
That's the twist. Lucas is doing the twist right now for our listeners at home.
And Ben is doing the toothpick Charlie right now.
Yeah, I am doing the toothpick Charlie.
The next scene is like crazy how it's shot. But basically, the cops follow Jinjiro to the drug district, and it becomes like a fucking zombie movie out of nowhere. It's fucking cool.
It's intentionally shot like a horror movie,
where like all these tweakers are there, like kind of like trying to like pull Jinjiro and in, and then there's some cops disguised as junkies, kind of trying to make their way in. And Jinjiro goes through this alley, and he finds this woman who is in the throes of withdrawal, but how it's shot is very, I don't know, grudge-like. Like her movements are erratic. She's scraping the walls, like kind of writhing. It's intense.
Yeah.
Also, how fun for the cops in disguise to play that, because they're like, okay, let's go to another spot, and they get up and they're just like hunched over and like, oh.
And I will say it's a little problematic to be portraying heroin addicts like this. But I do think it's cool as well, because every time they move, they make this like gaspy sound as if they're ghosts. They go like, wah, wah, wah. I think that's so fucking cool. I wrote a note that said this shit looks like Silent Hill.
A fun fact is he had the actors, like the cops who were playing in this scene, and the set designers go to an actual like drug-addled neighborhood in Yokohama with police escorts to kind of like catch the vibe of the area and inform their performances. Jinjiro like basically like whispers in this lady's ear, and he kind of takes her,
Whispers sweet nothings.
yeah, something, and takes her to this flop house. The cops, or the lead inspector really, deduces that he's using her as a guinea pig to test the drugs on. So by the time the cops find the girl, it's too late and she's already dead.
Horrible.
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 Okay, this next scene fucked me up the first time I saw it because I really threw my head for a twist. The cops are kind of waiting on the street for Jinjiro to come out. He then is like kind of sauntering, smoking his cigarette, where he sees something across the street. It pans over, and Gondo is there looking in a shop window, looking at some shoes. Now, the first time I watched this movie, I was like, wait, what the fuck? Are they like in on it together?
That's a Lucas thought.
I know. I had to go back and watch it again because I was like, well, I had to go back and watch it to write my notes. But the first time, I wasn't even sure if it was Gondo. I just thought it was just like a guy who looked like Gondo, maybe.
Because the shop is the company he used to work for, like the National Shoe Shop.
National
so he was like,
Shoes.
yeah, he was there like being like, it was a good ride. It was a good ride, y'all.
But what is bro doing there? I guess it's just like, it's very random. Even then, it feels very random.
He's unemployed. He's vibing with life, and he's like,
Yeah,
I did that.
He's just vibing. He's on the streets now. He's an everyday man.
But Jinjiro, seeing him, is like, hey, I'm going to twist the knife in a little bit. Even if he doesn't know it, he goes over and asks to bum a light for his cigarette as some sort of self-gratification.
Now, here's a Lucas thought. I thought he was going to be like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to use the heroin on this guy. And he was just going to, like, rando inject this guy in the street.
What? That's even more unhinged.
Yeah, I think because it's established later, spoiler alert, that this guy has animosity for Gondo, but only because he's seen Gondo's house from a distance. He doesn't actually have a personal grudge against Gondo. So I think this scene is just him like, wow, what kind of a piece of shit is this guy? Like, what, how bad does he have to fake it, you know?
Basically, he's got the heroin and he's going to the house.
He's heroin acquired.
Heroin acquired. He unlocked the next cutscene. So he goes he goes to the house and is apprehended by the cops.
Oh, fuck, it's the cops.
Oh, shit. It's also very, like, cartoony. They're like, hands up. He's like, you're going to hang for this, sucker.
You're gonna hang for, they do say that.
Yeah.
Oh, and then he tries to take the heroin himself.
Yeah.
But they fucking stop him. They catch his arm.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Cool detail. I don't know why I said that. I was just trying to find my spot in my notes. We're almost there, boys. We're almost there.
We only have one more scene left, really.
Yeah, like two or so. The cops in Gondo back at his house telling him the good news that they got pretty much all the money back. Unfortunately,
We got 'em, boys.
ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Unfortunately, there's a bunch of appraisers there cataloging Gondo's possessions. It appears that they were too late recovering the money to save Mr. Gondo from imminent financial collapse.
I can't remember when it is. It was in my original notes, but the clock that dings at the beginning of the movie. There's a clock that dings at the beginning of the movie at an important moment. I can't remember when it is, but in this scene, the clock is the indicator of his financial situation because they sit down and these two guys are like, oh, you can still use the furniture during the auction. What auction? Ding, ding. Shot of the clock with a sticker on it that says foreclosure or some other shit, some other fucking capitalist
Property
shit,
of the
you know.
state. Yeah.
Yeah. That's not capitalist. That's the opposite of capitalist.
Well, repossessing goods is still capital.
We get a paper that shows that or reads that Jinjiro will get the death penalty. which is bad. We don't like the death
Yeah,
penalty.
well, no. What are you cheering for, Lucas?
I wasn't cheering. I was going bat, 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 bat.
He's getting got by the state. In prison, the only person Jinjiro wants to talk to is Gondo. They have a conversation with glass and bars between them. Gondo reveals that he now works for a small shoe company that lets him make shoes the way he wants to. Jinjiro reveals that he hated Gondo for his home, reminding him that while he was suffering in the hot of the summer or the freezing cold the winter, Gondo was comfortable living above it all.
Like, you see so much hate in Jinjiro and so much, like, peace and acceptance. I don't know.
No,
Maybe I'm
you
reading into
do.
it.
You do know. You absolutely. That's it's an overt detail to pick up on. It's fucking brilliant. The what I noticed is that the reflection of Gondo, the reflection of Gondo in the window as the perpetrator is talking is facing away from him, like he's looking at the back of his head. In the same way that's been established throughout this movie, that when you look at the back of somebody's head and talk to them from behind, you're telling them something they don't want to hear.
Jinjiro slowly devolves, talking about how glad he is that his mother isn't alive, to sicken him with her tears and blubbering, that he brought Gondo here just to show that he wasn't afraid of death. He begins shaking, laughing, pulling out his hair, screaming.
He says, he's visibly shaking, and he says, "I'm not shaking because I'm scared. I'm shaking because I've been in solitary confinement for so long."
A gate closes as the guards pull him away. Gondo left to ponder, fade to black. That's high and low.
Yeah, it wraps up a theme that permeates the whole movie, which is that we tell ourselves lies. Like, we lie to ourselves, we lie to others. And when folks empathize with us, in the sense that they tell us that we're lying, we don't like to hear it. We don't like to be empathized with when we don't want to be empathized with. And this scene climaxes in that. Gondo has accepted his fate. He knows exactly who he is. He has not lied to himself. He's locked in. And this character thought that doing these horrible things would bring him peace. Getting this petty revenge would make him happy and satisfied. And while he's literally shaking from the fear of death, he's still in denial. He's still saying, no, I'm not scared. You're scared. Which I think is the most salient theme of the whole movie.
Well, boys, any other closing thoughts before we jam on to ratings and unhinged reviews?
I really like the movie. The twists and turns of, like, investigating the scene and exploring everything was so captivating. Gondo, at first with his misogyny, I was like, rich person, I don't know if I'm going to like him, but ended up realizing what is important in life, and I think that was awesome to see. I think to somebody who is a Republican, they'll see this and be like, this is an allegory about how capitalism is good and that we should trust rich people more because they're like Gondo. But yeah, really, really fun movie. Very happy that I was able to get to see it. So thank you, Mitch, for recommending it.
It's a masterpiece. If you have any interest in making movies at all, you should watch this. You should watch this movie and take notes.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say. Yeah, I just really enjoyed it. It feels very classic, like The Godfather or any other kind of great classic film where you can put it on and really be wrapped up in the magic of cinema. So yeah, it's a triumph. Well, now it's time to dole out some ratings for this here film.
I think personally this was an 8 for me. I feel like film people are going to be like, what? It's a 9, it's a 10. Maybe it deserves more, and I don't know the worth of what I'm watching, but 8.
It's your personal opinion. You're more than. I mean, that's better than some of the letterbox reviews I read. So
For me, when like I'll have my rating for a movie, and then I'll have like my minimum acceptable rating for a movie. You know, and I think with High and Low, my minimum acceptable rating would be a 7. If you told me you think High and Low is a 7, I'd be like, what? But all right, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But if you told me High and Low is a 6, I'd tell you to fucking watch it again. You're wrong. I think High and Low is a 9. It's fantastic. It borders on the 10 at points. And it's fucking brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It's a fucking masterpiece.
I struggle with this one. It's between an 8 and a 9 for me. I think on personal enjoyment, I'm gonna go with an 8. Just like super solid. Really, really liked it. Excited to watch it again somewhere down the line. Happy to own it, but maybe doesn't like peak and tickle my fancy in the same way some of my favorite films do, which is fine. That's my take.
Well, now it's time to scour the internet for the craziest, wackiest, funkiest, and by funky we do mean smelly, unhinged movie reviews that we could possibly find. I'm really proud of mine this week. The one that I sourced. It's very unhinged.
This is from Netscape on
.com.
Letterboxd.
Yeah.
I need to smoke with Bosun.
Bosun.
Bosun. Okay, never mind. We'll do the other one. This is
No,
from Z-Way.
no. You
from
pick
High and
one,
Low.
Lucas. You pick one.
Fuck them kids, Michael Jordan. Okay, this is from Eerily. Akira
Stop trying to
Akira
get away with
Kurosawa
this shit.
said,
Every
Hitchcock
single
retire,
time
bitch.
we do this fucking
I
shit.
know, I know.
You come in with like 80 and you're like, I can't decide. And then
Because this is Hollywood. Choose the best one for entertainment. Cut the rest.
Yeah, but me and Ben somehow have figured out how to not need to do that, bro.
Yeah, y'all don't always land, y'all. I'm just saying that.
exactly, and neither do you, even though you do it like 8 times an episode.
I know. Okay, my bad,
Stop
y'all.
fucking around.
It's a wash for me.
It's okay. Sometimes entire episodes fail. This is not a reference to this one. All right, the unhinged review I found was on Letterboxd by a user named Glac or Jlac. I don't know how to pronounce their fucking name. Their stupid name because they have a. I'm assuming they're stupid because their review's stupid. They posted it on the 20th of February of this year, and they said, "This is the best movie I've ever watched. My lord, it has everything from jolly children to fucking shoes. I definitely recommend it to individuals with foot fetishes."
What did they
Nope.
rate it?
They gave it 1 star. So yeah, fuck you, Jlac. Watch the movie again.
My unhinged review comes from Letterboxd user Wake Up Sleepy. They gave it 2 stars out of 5. While the film has its strengths, I couldn't help but feel that its reception is somewhat inflated. It seems that international films, especially those not in English, are often received disproportionate praise simply for being foreign. Had this movie been produced in English, I doubt it would be held in such high regard.
So this person works for ICE. This person is a fucking brown shirt. Understood.
Such a bad take. No. Oh my god. Bro does not like to read. Bro doesn't like subtitles.
To say that a Kurosawa film is only good because it's in Japanese is psychotic. All right, well, that's the episode, and
Different host jump scare here. Just letting you folks know, as you may have noticed, that La Camera was this week's which was this week's scheduled episode, is not here. Instead, is High and Low, which means next week, due to editing schedules, we will be putting the La Camera out next week. Thank you. Bye. Hope you enjoyed the episode.